Hello and welcome to today's tutorial. Today we will be looking at the Melissa throw, which is Tunisian crochet throw with a stranded color work. This pattern looks the best if it's made in two colors which are fairly similar. So this is how the pattern looks on the right side, and then on the wrong side you've got that there are strands from the stranded color work. So for my original sample I used We Crochet Brava worsted with 7mm Tunisian crochet hook, and today I'm going to be using 8mm Tunisian crochet hook with a bulky weight yarn, just for you to be able to see the stitches better. So this stitch pattern is worked over 8 plus 2 stitches, and the original sample for the original sample you would chain 146. So we'll be using two colors. My silver will be my color A, and then I'm going to bring this turquoise, and it's going to be my color B. So to start with, you will first make a slip knot, like so. Then you will insert the hook into the loop, and we will start chaining. So chain is worked as yarn over and pull through. That's chain 1, yarn over, pull through, 2, 3, and so on. So I'm going to let you to chain your multiple. Again, it's 8 plus 2. I'm going to work my multiple, and then I will meet you for the row number 1. I've got my multiple for the video. We are now starting with row number 1. So this is also known as foundation row, and we will be starting the color work. So the first stitch, which is on the hook, counts as the first stitch, and then we need to change to color B. So what we are going to do, we're going to create a little loop from color B, turn our rows of chain around, and we will be working into the back bumps of chain stitches. So we will insert the hook from front to back, like so. We place the loop on the hook and yarn over here. So this is one stitch in B, and this is where the stitch pattern starts. So it starts from the second stitch, the actual first stitch we worked, and this will be in color B. Then we will work 2 stitches in color A. So we are going to pick up the silver and insert the hook into the next back bump and the one after. We can tighten the loop in color B slightly. Then we work 3 stitches in color B. So we let go of the color A, pick up color B, and when we work the stitches, we make sure that we cross over the strand of yarn in the alternating color. So we will then work 3 stitches in B, like so, and then 2 stitches in A, and this will constitute the stitch pattern. Repeat for the first row. So again, we've worked 1 stitch in B, 2 stitches in A, 3 stitches in B, 2 stitches in A. This is the basic stitch pattern repeat. I have to make 1 more repeat, and then we will work the end stitch. So the beginning stitch, the one that is on the loop from the previous row, will be always in A, and the end stitch will also be always in A. Okay, so I'm going to go and work my second repeat, which is 1 stitch in B, 2 stitches in A, 3 stitches in B, 2 stitches in A, and the last end stitch. So we work the end stitch by inserting the hook under the last loop, yarn over, and pull up a loop. and then we will work standard return pass. Standard return pass is worked as yarn over pull through 1 and then yarn over pull through 2. When we work color work, we change the color when the second loop from the tip of the hook is in the alternating color. So now I'm go to that point, going to let go of A, pick up B, yarn over pull through 2, and now back to A, like so, and back to B again. And you will repeat this for the rest of your return pass. I am now at the end of my return pass for the row number 1. So I'm on the last 2 loops. I need to now pick up A again, yarn over pull through 2, and then brings us to the next row. We are now going to be working the row number 2. So we've got 1 loop on the hook already, that's the color A. Now we need to change to color B, and we'll work 2 stitches in color B. So we are going to work Tunisian simple stitches, and Tunisian simple stitches are worked by inserting the hook from right to left under the front vertical bar, yarn over and pull up a loop. So that's 1, and we need to work 1 more. Then we work 2 Tunisian simple stitches in A. So we get A, work 2 stitches in A, 1 stitch in B. Okay, so we are changing back to B. We will work 1 stitch in B, 2 stitches in A, and 1 stitch in B. And this is the stitch pattern. Repeat for row number 2. So we worked 2 stitches in B, 2 stitches in A, 1 stitch in B, 2 stitches in A, and 1 stitch in B. And then you will repeat this for the rest of the row until the very last stitch. Okay, now I'm on the last stitch, and the last stitch is also always worked in A. So what we're going to do here is we are going to be working under the both strands of the last stitch or of the edge. So insert the hook under both of these, yarn over and pull up a loop, and that's the end stitch. And we will do standard return pass. So yarn over, pull through 1, and we keep on changing the colors as we explained on the return pass of row number 1. So you will work standard return pass while changing the color at the same time. Now for row number 3, we will work 1 stitch in A, 1 stitch in A, 2 stitches in B, 1 and 2, 2 stitches in B, followed by 3 stitches in A, 1, 2 and 3, and 2 stitches in B, 1 and 2. So the repeat for row number 3 is 1 stitch in A, 2 stitches in B, 3 stitches in A, and 2 stitches in B. and you will repeat this for the rest of the row until the last stitch that is worked in color A, and there will be the end stitch. And you will continue with standard return pass. For row number 4, we will work 2 Tunisian simple stitches in A, followed by 2 stitches in B, 1 and 2, followed by 1 stitch in A, 1 stitch in A, followed by 2 stitches in B, 1 and 2, and 1 stitch in A. So the repeat for row number 4 is 2 stitches in A, 2 stitches in B, 1 stitch in A, 2 stitches in B, and 1 stitch in A. So 2 stitches in A, 2 stitches in B, 1 stitch in A, 2 stitches in B, and 1 stitch in A. And the end stitch will be in A, followed by standard return pass. Row number 5, we will work 2 Tunisian simple stitches in B. So we will start with B, followed by 2 Tunisian simple stitches in A, 1 stitch in B, 2 stitches in A, and 1 stitch in B. So the repeat for row number 5 is 2 stitches in B, 2 stitches in A, 1 stitch in B, 2 stitches in A, and 1 stitch in B. You will repeat this for the rest of the row up to the last stitch, and you will work the end stitch in A. You might have noticed that row number 5 is exactly the same as row number 2. So the row number 5 was repetition of row number 2. For row number 6, it's basically a repetition of row number 2. So we will be working 1 stitch in B, followed by 2 stitches in A, followed by 3 stitches in B, followed by 2 stitches in A. So again, the repetition for row number 6 is the same stitch pattern as for row number 1, which is 1 stitch in B, 2 stitches in A, 3 stitches in B, and 2 stitches in A. And you will repeat this for the rest of the row up to the last stitch, where you will work the end stitch in A. Row number 7 is repetition of row number 2. So we will work 2 stitches or 2 Tunisian simple stitches in A, 1 and 2, 2 stitches in B, followed by 1 stitch in A, 2 stitches in B, and 1 stitch in A. So the stitch pattern repeat for row number 7 is the same as for row number 4, which is 2 stitches in A, 2 stitches in B, 1 stitch in A, 2 stitches in B, and 1 stitch in A. And you will repeat this for the rest of the row up to the last stitch where you work the end stitch in A. For row number 8, which will be the last row of our row pattern repeat, we will be repeating row number 3. So we will work 1 stitch in A, 2 stitches in B, 3 stitches in A, 2 stitches in B. So stitch pattern repeat for row number 8 is 1 stitch in A, 2 stitches in B, 3 stitches in A, 2 stitches in B, which is the same as repetition for row number 3. So we'll be repeating this stitch pattern for the rest of the row up to the last stitch where we will work the end stitch, and this will be in color A. You will then be repeating the stitch pattern in row number 1 to row number 8 for the length of your project. So for the sample, I worked 120 rows in total, and then row 121 was a bind off row, and I used Tunisian simple stitch bind off using color A. That's what I'm going to show you now. You will have color A, and you will work Tunisian simple stitch bind off by working a Tunisian simple stitch into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and you will also pull through the loop on the hook. So you will only have 1 loop remaining. You'll go into the next stitch, work Tunisian simple stitch, and pull through the loop on the hook. And you will continue repeating this stitch pattern all the way to the very last stitch, the end stitch, and you will also bind off the end stitch. This will create a neat top of your project which matches the bottom, the first row that we worked in chains, and then the foundation row where we started changing colors. So the bottom and the top of your project looks very similar, almost identical. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this stitch pattern tutorial. The blanket actually, or the throw rather, looks much more intricate and a lot more complicated than it is actually, because it's simple 8 stitch and a row repeat. So if you are watching this video and it is before the end of May 2023, don't forget that I've got a special birthday sale in my Ravelry shop, which is 50% on all my self-published pattern. Okay, thank you very much again, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.